And so you get here, and then all of a sudden you realize what you thought was your ceiling, because all you're thinking about is how to survive. Now, when they said, this is survival, this is living. This is living. And then you go, oh, I see living. Then you lift up and you go, this is helping others live. Now you're in a whole different mindset. And that's where the excitement of this is.
Grady Paulson here, Family First Live America Beyond. Excited to have Quentin Kelley on here, joining me from South Atlanta, Georgia. That's what you said. You're like south of Atlanta, but in Georgia, and Josh is in North Atlanta. So I remember, I got it all under control, but Quentin's been with us for under a year now and is actively, currently, and continuously protecting over 30 families a month. He is doing it now virtually, which is an incredible addition that our company has embraced and now pioneering the training on. And I couldn't be more excited to have Quentin on with us, who's going on that adventure. I mean, he's not a seasoned vet 7 years in. He'll tell his story here in a second, but what I want for all of you to hear is the decisions he made, the challenges he faced, how he overcame them, and where he has arrived at today, and excited about his future. So without further ado, Quentin, excited to have you on here today.
Hey, thanks for letting me be on here. I really do appreciate it. You're right. It's been a journey. It's different for sure. Yeah.
Agreed. So give us some backstory. How did you find FFL? What were you doing before? Who introduced you to us? And give us the getting goings.
The getting goings. All right. So I'm gonna try to keep it condensed, but I've been in sales for 20 some odd years. Starting off and selling security systems door to door, learning how that works, to selling cars, cell phones, all sorts of things. But one of the things I realized, there was really no end game. There was no loyalty after I left that business. And I'm like, okay, I've got a family. I don't want to be 60 years old still having to sell, right? So I said, what opportunities can I still be in that I could help people, and at the same time make sure I'm building myself some type of residual income and things like that. So I looked at things and I saw insurance as the best opportunity. And so I was with a practice company. I worked there for a while, and it actually did auto, home, and life insurance. But I started selling so much life insurance, the branch manager said, "Hey, Quentin, we're an auto and home company that just happens to sell life insurance. Can you refocus?" And instead, I decided to go out on my own, work with a final expense practice company for a little bit, did well with that. COVID hit, and I only knew you could do final expense if it was in home. So I had found an opportunity with a network marketing company that allowed me to make sales from home. And that was great because I was able to be at home with my family, help with the kids some, help my wife. And the first year was vainglorious, right? It was awesome, pumping, things were going until changes in the plan, changes in the comp plan. I was starting getting chargebacks. The product was okay, but it wasn't working all the time. So all these things, I was making a lot of revenue, but it wasn't showing up income wise for the household. So I wasn't like I was dirt poor, but it felt like I was always just a little bit above water or below water, right? And in that last company, I met Josh Lockhart. Solid dude. I mean, he helped me. I wasn't even anywhere where he was benefiting from me at all. And he said, one day, boop, he goes to another opportunity. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's been with this company forever. And I kind of called him up. He told me he was working with this company, with FFL. And I was like, okay. And he goes, well, it was a short conversation. I was like, he's crazy. He'll come back. He'll realize the grass isn't greener. He'll come back. 3 months later, he's not back. Check it in. so how's things going, Josh? Great. And he started talking to me a little bit, and I'm like, that actually adds up. That's not right. Then I saw him on a YouTube podcast thing, and I'm like, oh, he's all in with them now. They really got him drinking the Kool-Aid. Finally, it got to the point where I was like, let me find out if this is real. And Josh and I had a very frank conversation. And I said, Josh, I need to know, because I've been a part of insurance companies before. The numbers you're saying, you would have blown our number one producer out of the water. This does not make sense. And he told me the system. And one thing that I've learned in the past is if people use a lot of words, they're lying. If they're short, they're more likely telling you the truth. And I said, what are you doing? What's the secret sauce? Pull the curtain back. He goes, Quentin, here we go. We buy leads, we call them, we help them, we go ahead, we invest a portion of that to buy more leads, call the people, help them, and go. I'm like, no way, no how. I've done leads. Leads aren't like this. And he was like, so we talked about that back and forth. And he goes, I don't know. I guess we just work harder. Bye, Quentin. Which is probably, if you guys are ever looking at recruiting people, treat them like you don't care if they're going to be on your team, because that fired me up. I was like, whoa, hold on a minute. I'm giving him the opportunity to have me on his team. Not that I think I'm amazing or anything, but I'm like, he acted like I was taking up his time. And so I called him back and I said, look, I'll just do this thing part-time, just part-time, little on the side. It'll supplement what I'm going to do. And I thought I was going to impress him. I'm going to impress him. I said, okay, look, this is what I'm going to do. I go, I'm going to spend $500 a week on this and get this thing started. He goes, oh, okay. It's a good thing you're part-time. What do you, okay. He goes, that's a good place to start if you're trying to just like kind of play with this a little bit. In so many words, Josh probably has it all written out what I said, because he's a note taker. But the fact of the matter was, he let me know that I was thinking small. And what I liked about after working here for a while was realizing it's not that this opportunity is so different, other than they open your mind to what's possible in this industry. Whereas I was looking at other people at other practice companies, and you saw where their top is where we began as far as production. Listen, you guys got me saying we, but FFL really, if anything, has shown me that really the sky's the limit. And that's when things started taking on. But that being said, to see the support. Whereas with this, it gave me the opportunity to work with people and be able to work my business without having to have someone over my shoulder, but still having people to help me. And I was like, wow, I really like this. And that's where I'm at. That's how I got a part of this wonderful opportunity. It was quite a journey.
I love it. I appreciate you giving Josh so much love, but the real boss is Michelle. We all know that. So, but it's but in all of that, it's awesome to hear your progression, because I think that's like most of us is you come in and you're challenged with work ethic, and then you're also present opportunity where there's doubt, and then you go, okay, there's people doing very well here. And what I believe the way you're saying it is that FFL now, to be a company where we start where many companies top out, it's not as though we're all selling the same products to the same people. We're just selling more. We're meeting with more people. We're dialing the phone more. And Sean said it very well early on in a call. And I remember he's like, think about what the country was divided up, right? It's 365 days in a year. 104 of them are weekends. That you add in PTO, sick time, vacation time, and corporate holidays. People are nearly working just a little bit more than half of the year. That's the way the world or the country was designed. And so if people are not working nearly almost half of the year because they're enjoying life or mowing the lawn or putting up, doing the things at which people do, it's like FFL goes, hey, why don't we just work 6+ days a week and get so far ahead? You know, Mark Mead said, just, you know, work so hard you can fill up your bank account that where your money isn't an option anymore. And I always loved him saying that, because coming out of FFL and to hear your eyes wide opening, it's great that it's unique to you, but it's not something that's unique to our company, because FFL is hearing people out there protecting, you know, 50+ people, at least in our agency, a week, protecting over 10 families in a week, up to 20, up to 30, up to 40, up to 50 in a week. You just go, I thought this was they only do this in Manhattan on Wall Street, right? Like, you know, this isn't, these aren't like normal, I work from my house in Atlanta numbers. Like, this is not, this isn't but it is. And we've got people just like anyone on here who've just made that decision through belief and faith and watching it happen, to go, I think I can make this happen for me too. And they go derive the skill set to let it happen. So, man, I love hearing your involvement here. So.
And I'll tell you one of the things, and I think because easy it is to help families here, it could almost be a trap. Because like you said, you get into this and you're like, well, I see someone helping 50 families. If I could just do a quarter of that, it would change my family's life, right? So when you get to that quarter so quickly, you start to go, you know, I helped 8 families, 9 families, 10 families. And, oh, look at all the extra time I have. Oh, look at this and look at, that's great, is that you could help 8 families, and that's good to protect you and your family, your circle. But what FFL has allowed me to realize is going to the 50 families a week is not to impress anybody. But now that I'm helping, if you help 50 families in a week, now you're thinking of things outside of yourself. And the hardest part when you first start this business is to get out of the mindset of, oh, if I could just pay bills, if I could just pay bills, that's all I need. Because that's how you've lived so long. And the places you've worked tells you that you are privileged if you can pay just your bills and a little bit more, and can go to a little bit of vacation and a little bit of this with their permission, right? And so you get here, and then all of a sudden you realize what you thought was your ceiling, because all you're thinking about is how to survive. Now, when they said, this is survival, this is living. This is living. And then you go, oh, I see living. Then you lift up and you go, this is helping others live. Now you're in a whole different mindset. And that's where the excitement of this is. It's not about just helping families and what you can do for yourself. Family First Life is really about, how do we change this whole industry and let everybody know, from any type of background you're at, boom, you can do something, and you could be, you could be that uncle or aunt or grandfather or whoever, now that has changed the generational future for the family, right? And I tell people this all the time, Family First Life, we help a lot of family, but the very first one is your own, right? And that is helping them to be able to see more, do more, be more. Because now even my children talk to me and they're like, hey, Daddy, do you think we can do this now? Do you think we could do that now? You know, can we go here now? And it's like, before I was like, shut up, kid. Yeah, go watch TV. Now I'm like, how can I do that? How can I do that? Interesting. And that's where I'm at. Sorry about that. I get a little bit excited. I had some coffee before this.
It's same wavelength. And we could keep going. I want to, like, this is my this is my everything, right? Mindset, great gratitude, believe. I mean, there's so much gratitude that so many of our agency managers have, how our lives have evolved and what we're able to do. And we get to protect and help clients. And then we get to teach people how to go out there and protect and help clients. And that then helps us and protect our own household. And I think it's a very amazing opportunity that Sean has built here, and something that, you know, will continue to impact the course of business. But let's jump into the nuts and bolts, right? Let's get to the cogs and widgets and the levers. So let's talk about, did you ever run in person? And then how did you transition, or was it 100% virtual?
Okay, so in my practice company, I did in person. When I started with FFL, I did completely virtual.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went ahead and went completely virtual. Was that a smart idea looking back at it? I don't know. You know, it's a learning curve. You just think you can take that and it's a learning curve, right? So yeah, I just started off straight off virtual.
Cool. Okay. And so now that you're here with us doing virtual, and now when you say virtual, is that phone and book appointments? Is that one call closes? Is that setting up Zooms? What is virtual for you?
Okay, so I try to do one call closes. That's my number one thing I'm trying to do. One call close. And if they absolutely can't, and they've convinced me they can't do it right now, then we'll set an appointment.
Got it.
And that's how I run it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about schedule. So if your goal is one call closes, you probably work a certain set number of days, and then probably hope to have a certain set of days to spend time with the boss. And as my mom would call it, she's like, you're out of food in the fridge. And I was like, why? What happened in the fridge? She's like, termites got in there. And I'm like, termites got in our fridge? She's like, no, your kids, they're little termites. They just ate all the food. So you're the boss, your wife, and then your babies. You probably like to try to spend some time with them. So what is a schedule that you run at this point in your career that's allowing you to hit the production goals that you've set out for yourself, as well as try to have a family life?
Yeah. So my schedule, and it's probably not typical to most, it's because I try, you know, being able to spend time with my family is huge. I worked in the car business, and they sapped the life out of you. So I tried to,
Isn't it term bell to bell? 8 to 8?
Yeah, bell to bell. I mean, dark 30 to dark 30. That was the goal, you know, and knock it out. And to have a Saturday or to have a Sunday where I can spend time, and then in the evenings with my children, are very important to me, right? So I try to work Monday through Friday, okay? Monday through Friday, helping a certain amount of people a week, right? To be able to do that, to give myself the gift of having the weekend off. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but you know, my wife Melissa understands that if it didn't hit that, then Saturday, but never on Sunday's family, right? Unless there's somebody that's guaranteed they want to sit down and talk, and that's the only time they have, right? So Monday through Friday. So Mondays I can get started around around 8. But I've been recently driving up to the work spots office. So, which I don't know why, it just totally changes my mindset when I'm in that office. And it's people from different teams there. Well, you didn't ask all that. And I work till about 5:30. Okay. Now here's where the things changed. I was realizing I wasn't hitting my goals like that. So I started getting different time zones so I could spend time with my children from 6 to 9 by the time he goes to bed and stuff. I put my oldest in bed and the young one, and I've helped them, and we've done our Bible stories and all that stuff. And now I can go ahead and call California, okay? Or I can call, you know, Hawaii or something like that, which I think is kind of cool that, you know, when I could post, oh, just help somebody in Hawaii. And they're like, Hawaii, you know? And so here's an example, Grady. My wife's going out of town next week for a business thing for herself. If I didn't have these other 2 time zones, right, that means no production for 5 days. But now I know when they go to bed, I could either sit up and watch TV, or I can jump on some dials and call and hit my goals that way. I can call anytime anyway. So that's my that schedule. So Mondays Mondays and Tuesdays I can hit really hard, right? I have ministry on Wednesday mornings and Friday mornings, so I don't usually get started till about 10 o'clock till about 6 on Wednesdays and Fridays. And then Thursdays are my really tight day, and it's between 12 and 5 o'clock that I can work. So that's how my schedule is. So it's shorter than most, but it's kind of like you've seen The Pursuit of Happiness, and I don't know if you've seen it or not, but you know, in that story, he only had a short window of time to do his business because he had to pick up his child. He had other responsibilities that the other people don't have, right? So I'm not 20 years old living in by myself in an apartment where no one cares what my time is. So when I'm working, it has to be working. And that's why I'm on live dials, because if I'm starting to slack off or I'm talking too much, I might get a text and say, hey, how many dials have you made? Or, hey, things going okay? Because they see me not talking. So it keeps me accountable being on there. And so I got to make every minute count, because I know I could have more hours, but I don't want those extra hours. So I just make it count during that time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, the freedom to be able to work time zones virtually, I think opens up so many doors for someone, because I could book 8 to 9 appointments every 45 minutes in person. I'm driving from one side of town to the other, down south, around, and I got Notion, I'm driving back. And, you know, it's great and all in person, but like if you can potentially get 10 plus, 15 plus open presentation in a day from an office, is, I mean, I don't know what the record numbers are for presentations and closes in a single day. I mean, I could talk to Rich or Logan O'Brien. Those guys are psychos, which good psychos, what, but in doing so, I love how you balance your schedule around it, because there's no excuses, right? We've got a bunch of people that have no kids and no significant others that have no time to dial. And it's, oh, I'm so busy with all these things and my no money. It's like, no, you're making excuses. You just don't want it bad enough. The pain doesn't hurt, right? The old adage of the dog on the porch wincing over and over and over and over again. The guy walks on the porch, says the old man, what's wrong with your dog? It's got a nail in his foot. Well, why doesn't it take it out? Doesn't hurt bad enough, right? There's so much change that you've had to derive to go, we're going to make it happen no matter what. I'm going to get my calls in. I know if a ratio will appear when I make a number of dials, that I'm going to get a number of presentations and I'm going to get a number of families protected. So I love it.
Well, I'll tell you, that's why group accountability, like in the Discord, Candy Hooder's on the Gloves Off team, right? So I'm sitting up watching the football game on Monday Night Football, and it's like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and it's like, she just helped 3 families. Oh, that's a one-off. And I'll wake up, like she's almost like an alarm clock. And I would look, and Candy was up till our time, 12:30, 1 a.m. And I'm like, but she does it consistently. And it made me realize, well, I could do that one night. I could do that, you know. So it's seeing people that are Hall of Fame and keeping those kind of people around you and in your sight helps you understand what's possible, you know. And then the cool part about it is, if they're on live dials and you can unclick and say, hey, what was that deal about last night? And they tell you all of it. And you go, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, that's, yep.
Let's jump into what you say. So
okay.
You're on, you know, software of choice, or are you a manual dialer?
Oh, there's no way. Okay, so
there's a lot of purists out there. They got patchouli on, they got lemon oil on their ears, and they're dialing by hand. So I just want to make sure.
There's no way. I don't have the time, right? So since I don't have as much time, I have to invest financially into certain things that help it out. So I have Phone Burner.
Awesome.
And I have a CRM that I work with as well. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what that one is too. that Zepo. I work with Zepo on there.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I've done TurboText, which is, they're all awesome softwares. Just find out which one works the best for you. And so Zepo and Phone Burner working together for me has been the best option. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yep.
Okay. So give us, so we're like, I say this humbly, but when I'm sitting down, getting ready to give a presentation, I got my papers lined up. I'm just like, listen, Bob and Dolores, you're about in for a show right now. Cause I'm about to sing opera and I'm half Hispanic. So just buckle up. And by the time I get to the end of it, their jaw's on the floor and they're buying insurance and protecting their family. So, and I don't mean to put pressure on you right now, but I meant like, I'd love to hear what you say now to take control and move clients from not knowing about insurance to knowing about insurance to being insured.
All right. So first of all, just in-home and telesales are totally different, because in-home, you want the jaw to drop, here's the presentation. What I have found is when you're over the phone, kill it. All you are is an application writer. That's all you're here for. Okay. I'm just here to fill out an application. So real quick, ring, right? And I'll be like this. Grady, this is Quentin Kelley. I've got this card that's been in here for about 2 or 3 months now. Did any of the guys ever get back to you about this? No. What are we talking about? They'll say no. And I'll go, this is about the mortgage protection plan that you filled out the card for. In case you die, it'll pay off the loan, chronically ill or disabled. Did the guys ever even sit down with you over the phone or in the house? And they'll go, no. Or if they say no, then I'm like, all right, look, just grab a pen. Let's go ahead and get this taken care of. If they say yes, they talk to somebody, I go, okay, great. Were they professional? And let me guess, this person just talked so fast it didn't even make sense. And they'll go, oh, that guy came out here and let me tell you, and they'll give me this whole review on what he did. He came and showed me $400 a month. I told him I couldn't afford that. I was like, I'd be good at 200, but he doesn't even sound like he was listening. Or I'll hear 3 people came out here, like just Monday, 3 people came out here and they told me they would let me know if I got approved. I've heard nothing from them. Okay. And I'll hear it and I'm like, and I just go like this. Yeah, that sounds about right. Grab a pen. Let's go ahead and get this done. This is going to take about 15 minutes. Make sure it's a good pen, clean sheet of paper. Let's get this done. I don't have any flowery presentation like the rest of the sales guys do on the floor. If this got to my desk, this explains everything. Let's go. All right. So then at that point, when they go and grab their pen or whatever, I'm like, all right, real quick. So I've got your address. Well, I say this. My name is Quentin Kelley. It's Quentin Kelley. My license is 664-337. They're like, whoa. What was that? And I go, okay, it's Quentin Kelley, 664-337. You have it now? Yes. Okay, great. Let me tell you what I've got so far. And I read whatever I have. Is all that correct or has anything changed? No. At least they put that right into the system. All right, let's go ahead and get this taken care of. And I just keep on rolling through. And, from that point, it's like height, weight, or if it's mortgage, what's your medications? Go through that. All right, look, this is what's going to happen, Grady. I'm about to send this over to about 30 different carriers. They're going to tell me who's going to decline you, who's going to approve you. Okay. Once that comes back, we'll find out which one matches your budget the best. When we find that out, we're going to go ahead and fill out this form, send it over, and they're going to send you an approval or a denial. If you got an approval, then at that point, you have 30 days to look it over, increase, decrease, throw it, or you say, hey, look, kick rocks, whatever. But the carrier gets the final say. Does that make sense? Yes. Good. Go through the application as I'm going through, social. When it comes to the social part, I'm just like, hey, Grady, yeah, you're a US citizen, right? Yeah, then what's your social? And if they give me pushback, then I'm like, you are a US citizen, right? Yes. What's your social? and they'll tell you, you know. Bank information. You are the payer of the policy. Yes. I try to read it just like the application. I used to jump around on it. Hey, you are the payer of the policy. Yes. Not the owner, not the anybody else. You're going to be the one paying this. Yes. Okay, great. We're going to have to need a valid banking information. Then what the routing number? What's the bank that you use? They tell me. All right, great. This is my routing number I have for that. That correct? Yes. What's your account number? I'm not giving you that. Oh, are you serious? And they're like, I'm not giving that over the phone. We need a valid form. You do have a bank account, right? Yes. All right. Well, they're going to, before they release approval to you, they need to know what you're going to get. If they have a valid way of paying them, that makes sense, right? Yes. What's your bank account number? So I make sure it sounds like they are annoying me when we're going through this. It's really more of, you already knew I didn't have time for this in the first place, and now you're playing this game. And then we get through, I send everything to them, all the information, the thank you notes, and all the hellos and all that stuff. So that's how I go through it, and it seems to have worked very well for me.
That was fun. So I think if I was to comment, it's not arrogance, it's a little attitude. And a little attitude is control. And the way I try to coach people, and I'm like, listen, our clients generally have a they have a boss, they have coworkers they don't like, they have someone instructing them what to do, what time to get to work, what time to go to lunch, what time to go home. And when you come in and you're, hey, could we please do this, please and thank you, when do you have time? I can do anytime. Versus, we need to get this taken care of right now. This got to my desk, something's gone wrong, we need to get this, go grab a pen. The control makes them feel comfortable, because our client base is a clientele that has been under control by their boss or superiors or their parents or whomever, and which is fine. Like this is just us understanding the society of people and the submissive nature at which most live by. And when you come in and mirror what they're used to, the doctor, the being in control, listen, Grady, if you keep eating donuts, you're gonna die. Okay, I'll never eat donuts. Right? Listen, Grady, donuts are fine and all. Everybody likes donuts, but if you eat a couple more, you might get sick. That's not as impactful as if you keep eating donuts, you're going to die. Right? So that's where you're coming through and going, go get a pen. So I just love the way you deliver that, because if people could understand that this isn't about being nice, this isn't about you making sure they like you. This is about you taking control, because if you don't take control, they're not going to get protected, and they could die tomorrow and their family will be in ruin. This is about you being in charge. So
yeah,
I love
if they hear you, if they hear you being nice, salespeople are nice. Salespeople are the more, and I have lost deals cutting a joke or saying something like that and starting to build rapport and things like that, because rapport is for salespeople. Managers behind a glass window don't give a crap about that. So as soon as you break that mindset and start being nice, I've lost deal after deal.
Yeah, I love it, man. So let's say quickly, hypothetically, you call me up and I go, listen, I'm not interested. I saw the prices. I'm not interested.
Okay, so Grady, based on what you're telling me here, is whoever came out there to you just ran whatever they wanted to on you, and you didn't appreciate the price. Am I correct?
Correct.
That's probably why this got on my desk. Grab a pen. Let me tell you what the real numbers are.
Good. Okay. Listen, I sat down with someone and I can't get approved for anything. So I just, it just was too, it's too much right now. You get frustrated, frazzled the client.
Yeah, I got you. So based on what you're telling me, the guy came out there, just told you you couldn't get approved. Is that correct? Yeah. Well, thank God. That's why I'm glad I'm off the sales floor. Okay. They only have but so many that they've been approved for or whatever. I've been doing this forever. I'm gonna send you my credentials. You can see all my carriers and everything. Grab a pen. Let me tell you what you qualify for.
Just back to script. What's another one you get sometimes?
Another one I get is I never fill this out.
Okay.
Right. All right, Grady, I totally get that. I'm looking at this card right now. Okay. If you'll grab a pen real quick, I'll go over what you qualify for. Then that way we can both get this out the way. Does that make sense? All right, go ahead and grab that pen.
Okay, and then are you going to verify?
Yeah.
Then I see your address is this, your spouse's name is this, your birthday is this. Did
Yeah.
you recently buy a home? It looks like, you were qualified, and then you just whatever, go through the pitch of the product.
Yeah, yeah. So you just go through it, and the more that you're talking about what they said, or if they're like, well, I've had people get irate. I did not look at your phone. Is that your handwriting, or is that your wife's handwriting?
That's my wife's handwriting. Okay, she must.
It's your wife's handwriting?
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like she needs to be here for you to make a decision. So what we're going to do, Grady, is we're going to go ahead. The best time I have for that we have available, what time you get off of work? What time does she get off of work? And if they're like, oh, what time? 5 o'clock? All right, cool. I don't have anything at 5. The soonest I have is 5:45. Can you both be at a table with a pen and paper and get that so we can get this out the way?
Perfect.
Yeah, that's just what it is. If you just tell people like what it is, the more you sound like you just like, this guy does not care. I do what was done to me about FFL. That makes sense?
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, it took me a little bit to figure it out, but I was like, if I sound like I don't care, I'm just trying to get this done, they'll be fine.
Indifference, right? Me getting, I'm not eager to get this done. This is something that needs to get done. Why are you calling me here so late? They've got me here late, right? What are you doing? They've got me doing this, right? The indifference creates in the mind of the prospect client that this or anything else is of equal importance, that the money that you could earn or that you being perceived as a salesman is not correct because you're completely indifferent to the outcome. I'm just here needing to check a box that I presented you to your numbers, and you're now educated on the product, and most likely you'll be interested when we get down to that point, and mentally is what we're thinking.
Yeah. Why are you calling me so late? Well, apparently they weren't able to catch you earlier in the day. Now I have to call you this late. So let's go ahead and get this, go grab a pen so we can get this thing done.
That was good. That was good. All right, my man. So we got a bunch of new, educated, fired up agents with some great word tracks that they are going to now go and rock and roll with as we close out this year. What's some advice you have to these new agents out there or people that are looking to maybe even get started with us that maybe was spoken to you at the beginning of your career here that you would like to share with all of us?
I would tell you this is the number one thing you should do. The number one, if you're brand new at this, be a carbon copy of your upline, period. That is it. Okay. Because here's an example. They always tell us pick 3 companies that you really like to work with, right? Well, your companies need to be your upline's companies, whatever they are. In the first 90 days, those are yours. Why? Because when you're in the in-home in your first 90 sits, if they like Am, Americo, and Prosperity, and you're at Great Western, Aflac, and AIG, well, great for you. You love those companies. When you're sitting down and you need help and you call your person up and you're saying, hey, I got this prescription. Do they mean this on this app? And your uplines never open that up. You're stuck. You're stuck. And what I messed up was I saw so much stuff on so many podcasts that I wanted to do everything. But those people on those podcasts were not picking up the phone to help me in the in-home. Right? So anything I'm going to do with the person who's going to be picking up the phone. If I saw something that was really good, I'm going to run it by Josh. Josh, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? If Josh says not right now, guess what? Not right now. Okay. So I'm just saying is be a carbon copy of your upline for the first 90 days. Learn what they say, do what they do, use the things they use the tools that they use, do all the things that they do, because right now they're successful. Okay. And then as you grow and you get better, you're going to draw the attention of people further and further up that may have some other things that you might be able to do or your upline hasn't gotten to yet. And that allows you to grow. So don't think you know everything. Don't use your past experience to cloud your judgment. Just for 90 days, be a carbon copy of your upline.
I love it, man. I love it. Quentin, it was an honor. It was a pleasure. I'd like everybody who has their access to thumbs or a keyboard to drop a QK in the comments below to show my man Quentin Kelley some love for pouring his heart out here for us, teaching us what he does that has made him becoming so successful. You're doing great, brother. It was an honor. It was a pleasure. And everybody out there, thank you for joining us today. Thank you again, Quentin. We'll look forward to seeing you again real soon. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.